I think looking at people at Vindhya, right, there is no dearth of motivation.
Absolutely.
But I want to just move out from from the structured, unstructured to a structured motivation factor. I know you kind of spent some time at IIM Bangalore doing your EGMP that time. How much do you feel that formal education at IIM Bangalore actually helped you in terms of maybe forming Vindhya or taking it to the next frontier? How was that education as a motivator?
Absolutely, education definitely plays a very important role, and I had started Vindhya before I joined IIM. I think the key differentiators was I could think big, and I could bring in a lot of structures into the organization. So earlier it was just me and kind of things which we were doing, but met a lot of people from various different sectors, and got a lot of understanding from various different people who were working in different corporates. Yeah, and we always felt this is something different, and we've been doing it this way, but every corporate has a D&I initiatives, and they have been doing a lot of work in that. This helped us to kind of understand more, and that I think these are few things which really helped me as a person, and education definitely, as I said, plays a very important role. I think the people, and one of the beautiful thing was there was a module on entrepreneurship, and a lot of discussions happened on that, and we were kind of taken through a lot of journeys who are successful entrepreneurs, and social impact is one key thing which I was introduced when I was studying at IIM. So that also gave me a lot of confidence. I mean, in telling that it's just not me. There are more people with you who've been trying to kind of do different, and and there's a lot of hope, and
Wow. I think a positive person and then again a motivation towards there's a lot of hope. There can not be a better combination to that, right? But Pavithra, coming back to another aspect about our lives, and especially, I would say, especially Indian society, right? A woman plays multiple roles in her life. Obviously, and as an individual, a mother, a wife, a daughter-in-law, and obviously much more than typically what men get to experience. How have you kind of juggled between your personal life and the professional life, and how has that story been?
It's a good question, but I think you should be asking this to my family to understand whether I fit into all these roles well. But yes, I have 2 daughters, and I've been kind of trying to play all these roles. That I think a partner plays a very important role in my life. I think my husband has been really kind of not just playing a role of a man, so-called man who's just kind of doing certain things, but he's been kind of extremely supportive, and he said, you just go ahead and do whatever you want. And I never had any limitations in terms of me going and pursuing what I want to do. And I think that has something which is yes, I still one of the favorite daughter and the daughter-in-law, and my kids are happy and very independent today. Just because I'm not around most of the time, they've been doing a lot of things. See, I would say that it is important to kind of prioritize what is required at that point of time. So when we were starting an organization, we felt that the organization needs a lot of time, and this is also a family for us. So for me, this is no different, and that way, whichever needs priority, we've given that time to respective people. So today we are on a kind of auto mode where our processes are set, we have teams in place, and yes, I can definitely kind of give a lot of time to family, or even balance it, saying that I do so much work at office for this time, and go back home and spend time with your husband, family, kids and everyone. So I think it is priority and the situation which needs you at that point of time. I don't know about bringing in that balance. I think if people understand, your family or whoever it is, if they understand what is important at that point of time, I think this question of balancing wouldn't arise. Is what happened in my life, because when I gave birth to my second daughter, she was just like 15 days and I was here for a board meeting, and she was absolutely fine, and from then she knows that there is office, and we need to do these things, and then we also enjoy as a family. So that
So Pavithra, I think every award and every recognition is a great motivation, and I can see your wall filled with awards. Very recently you went to London for a similar recognition, and just going through your biodata, I have heard so many things about you that I have to write it down. A Femina Business Women of the Year in 2014, Women Entrepreneur of the Year by CNBC in 2016, Transforming Women of the Year by Niti Aayog in 2016, Leader of Tomorrow by Times of India, and Lunch with the President of India himself at Rashtrapati Bhavan.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there are lots more that I'm not covering right now. But what, according to you, is your proudest moment?
I think according to me, these recognitions have definitely made us extremely happy, and with recognitions what we feel is there's more responsibility. One of the very proudest moment is when first time when we got recognized, that said that yes, your idea is not bad, and you can go ahead and kind of do it, and that was a motivation for us. Proudest thing personally for me has been the transformation which I've seen in our employees' lives, where somebody going back and saying that I'm a breadwinner of the family, that is really proud. And people, the society, for me the society is the family. The family accepting you as what you are and say that I'm very proud of you, and you start leading a life which is with self-respect and dignity. That is a proud moment for me. One of my employee getting married, those initial days, that was like very, very happy for us. I'm like, wow, this is celebration for us. One of my employee buying a flat in Bangalore, I'm like, what more?
Sure.
These are some of those moments which has really made us very, very proud of our people and the organization which we've been able to kind of create for the last 12 years. I think these are very, very special for us.
In fact, when we spoke to one of your employees, she told us that she found her husband in this organization, which was like so
absolutely. And it also shows, talking to Pavithra, the modesty that people have, that in spite of the wall being filled up with so many awards and all, your proudest moments are still very personal, and they involve people. I think that's also the whole foundation of what you've been able to set up at Vindhya, right?
I think these people have made us what we are. That is something I would never. That's why I said I'm really gifted to be working with this set of people whom I'm working with, and I am ever kind of indebted to all these people who give me so much of love, and who've been with us, and who've supported us, and who've doing an amazing job. You talk to our customers are extremely happy with the kind of delivery which we've been giving, and and that's why we've been growing, and what.
So, Pavithra, coming back to the point that you said, right, it's the collective of Vindhya that has given you the success that you're sitting on today, right? And I think it also brings us to a very important point. A lot of corporates, as you mentioned while you were in IIM Bangalore, a lot of companies were looking at the disabilities and how they can include such workforce. we do see around, and going forward we go to the offices and our viewers would be going to their offices day in day out. They would be seeing these people on the roads, in their office, as people working next to each other, right? I think it's very important for us to understand what is the sensitivity towards and how we can be, give them the required self-respect, not the empathy, sympathy factor, but also help them come into the mainstream society. With your experience having handled them so closely, would you like to, give some sort of a message to our viewers in terms of their sensitization about such people?
See, largely I think we should look at the integrated society. From our education, we should ensure that everybody is part of it. Our inclusion should start there. Then we wouldn't be talking about these differences. That's primary thing. At a grassroots level, bring people at the, people in their childhood. If my children is exposed to this kind of an environment, she wouldn't be talking about inclusion,
right?
Because it's all integrated, and that is first thing. Secondly, I think since we've been, we need to kind of make that difference, and we've been talking about inclusion. What we do is, let's kind of start employing one person at least, in each of these organizations wherever people feel they want to employ them, and employ and then ask people. Let's not assume a person with physical disability only needs a ramp or a lift. No, there's much beyond that. And each person with disability has different kind of needs. There are minimal things which needs to be done. I'm sure most of the buildings today do have them, but I'm telling, let's go beyond that. Let's not kind of stick to this and say that my office or my place is not disabled friendly or not accessible, and that's why I want to make this happen and then employ people. Unless you have a person on board, you wouldn't do it. So that's what we also did. So as and when we had people, we started asking them, you tell me what you want, and we will ensure that those things are being provided. So that's where we've been able to kind of employ any person with any disability. It doesn't stop us from even for example, when we hired a person with visual impairment, we didn't know at all. A person with physical disability is like you and me. I mean, it's like simple, and you talk, I talk, it's no different. But a person with visual impairment or a hearing impaired, the sign language was completely new to us. Unless we had that person inside, we wouldn't have known that we could bring in more people with hearing impairment. And similarly, a visual impairment, one of the girls, she came and she started working on my laptop, and I asked her, do you need anything different? Yes, maybe we need an additional application to kind of work on it. By the way, it's just normal, which we didn't realize, or we don't realize. And I think we need to start making that, take that first step of bringing a person and start asking them what they want, and then everything is in place.
Wow.
I think there's a very good lesson for business out here. Is that you should not always start working on assumptions. I think it's very important that you get someone on board and then trial and test it. That's how you are going to reach perfection.
Yes.
I think that's very important. I think in corporate sector is now waking up to the need of having women leaders, and the sector is doing a lot of things nowadays. There is to kind of a gender gap parity of what they earn. Then we have kind of quotas in parliament, in board of directors, and we want to give equal opportunity to women. But of course, entrepreneurship is a completely different ball game. And at least what we see in India today, the percentage of women entrepreneurs aren't lot as we compare it to the men. So if any of the women entrepreneurs or budding women entrepreneurs are watching this show today, what would be your advice to them? And also, what would be your message to the men in their lives, not only their husband but their parents, their brothers, so that they can kind of go ahead in their dreams?
I think first thing is, we shouldn't, we should look at what we are, women as a very positive thing, not getting to that stereotype of, we women are only supposed to do this, or, we have our own limitations. I think there is today the society has gone beyond, and everybody is trying to give your share of equality in every sector. And I've been extremely kind of happy with that. I think you should start believing in yourself.
Right.
I think that is primary. Once you start doing that, and if you kind of go and what your heart says, I think sky's the limit. And that's what I would like to tell all the women entrepreneurs, aspiring people who want to really do a lot of things. I think that's really important. In terms of a message to men, I think again, allow people to kind of dream. Allow them to do what they want, and let's kind of create that mutual respect and love for each other, so that we could all live in a society where it is not fighting for each other's rights or equality, but think we're all the same, and try to work with each other with a lot of respect and love.
Wow.
I think that's what we need to kind of
Listening to those words, I remember a long time back in our schools we used to we were taught about something called Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family, and I think it's far and far more important for today to have that inclusivity and include everybody irrespective of whether it's ability, disability. I think disability itself is some sort of an ability, and everybody is kind of included in that society. I'm sure, Sapta, you and me have been talking to Pavithra so closely, and we've looked around at Vindhya. We are awestruck.
Yes, I almost feel like I am in the Avengers headquarters.
Well, he surely cannot get out of that Avengers piece. And I would say, I'm sure the viewers who are listening to this would also get that motivation, that it's not about just the financial graph, but it's also the social graph that is very important for us. So if So if viewers, you like this video, you like that channel, please do subscribe, please do like the video, and if you have any questions for Pavithra, please do put in the comments. We'll surely reach out to Pavithra for her answers. Well, with that, we will sign off. This is Sapta.
This is Dave.
And we are Two to Tango.